I'm thinking we're live. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out this deal to where I have the dashboard, comments, etc. Yep, I'm 8 seconds in. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Monday Morning Mindset with Coach Mike Mack. Here I am, hanging out in the car. Uh, yeah, it's a long story. In any case, I almost didn't make it. But today, Today we're going to do a little something different. In fact, I'm thinking about changing the name for our Monday mindset sessions. And in order to do that, it's okay. Here we go. There's comments. Do not disturb is on. Okay, we're all good. We're all good. Yeah, just some technical stuff. I'm trying to figure out how to do all this. But anyway, hey and howdy, Coach Mike Mack here. I wanted to take some time today to really introduce myself, my story, why you see trucking all the time from me, and how in the world my dog Coco saved my life. Because without her, I'm about 99.9% sure that I wouldn't be here talking to you. Okay? And so, with that, I wanted to just let you know I appreciate the folks in this group, the dads. This is a passion project of mine. Yes, I'm a trucker. I've been a trucker. I no longer am a trucker driving a big rig, but I consider myself a big rig. That's a whole nother metaphor that we'll get into later. But trucking in a real way saved my life as well. So let me take you back. Whew. This Monday morning is going to be a little bit different for you. Maybe a little heavy. Okay, I'm not going to lie. It might get a little bit heavy. That's just go there. I'm not just here to pump you up. I'm here to tell you the truth, and because I was almost not here to tell it. I stood on a cliff, and those that what cliff I'm talking about, I'm not talking about an actual cliff. Okay, it's hmm. But I stood there, and one more step, I would have checked out from this life. Okay, the pressure, huh? It was overwhelming. The pain, it was crushing. Okay, um, it's huh. I just felt like I didn't have anything else to give. I felt like I had lost everything. And I think some of you know my story, and I will keep telling it because I think there's new folks in here. I came home one day from work, went into the mudroom to change my clothes, and there's no washer and dryer. Went to the next and opened the next door, and there's just papers. There's no furniture. There's no fridge. There's no stove. And by now, I thought somebody had like stole all our stuff. I didn't know what happened. And it wasn't until I got to the bedroom door, and this moment I will never forget. It's etched into my mind, into my heart. Where our queen bed used to be was a twin bed. Okay, and that moment was the beginning of the end for me. Um, so, in short, I lost her. I lost the house. I lost a six-figure job. Okay, I lost myself. And in the months and a couple of years after this, it was the toughest times I've had of my life. Okay, the stress, the loneliness, the pain, the hurt. And I began to feel so alone. I began to feel like life wasn't worth living anymore. Okay? And I've had experience with suicide. Okay? I want you to know that I'm no stranger to it. As a junior high, okay, it might be middle school now, but anyway, in junior high, my best friend locked himself in the parents' car inside the garage and left the motor running, and he was found dead the next morning. It was Billy. And, oh, anyway, so, and not, and that's not the only experience I've had with, someone ending their life. A good friend of mine, trucker buddy, I don't have exact permission to share his story. I'm sure he wouldn't mind, but I'm not going to name him. But he drove his big rig into a bridge abutment. He had called me the day before, and I didn't key in to some of the things he said. Thank God he survived. He got banged up pretty good, but his intention was to end it. And so with that, I want you to know, I sit here, I'm in this group. This passion project is something that I've been through the shit, okay? And and I even I even came that close to not being here. And it took my dog Coco. What happened was she laid her head on my lap. And for those of you who know something about pattern interrupt, that pattern interrupt happened at just the right moment. So, Coco wasn't any special kind of dog. I mean, she was my kind of my best friend at the time. Um, she just laid her head on her lap. I mean, it just kind of broke me open. The that moment where I stayed, it didn't fix everything, okay? But it did remind me of one thing, that I'm still here. And I want to remind you, if you've got, and this is going to end up becoming something that we're going to have a system or have a help for inside the group. Because I know things get heavy. I know things get tough. And then we come to a point where we just don't want to live anymore. We don't think life is worth living. We want to end the pain, whatever the verbiage is. And sometimes it's not just the words, guys. You think maybe if I had said the right words, or, I think sometimes it's just about being there. Like my dog Coco. No judgment. There was no advice. It was just love. And that, at that moment, it changed the trajectory of my life. I didn't know it 18 years ago, but it did. It did. And it didn't make all things better. I just, whew. So you got a couple of stories. You got my own. You got my junior high best friend that took his own life. My buddy, my brother trucker, who tried to take his life. How is it? I've asked myself 1,000 times, what if someone hadn't been there? Coco, like Coco was for me. What if someone could see my pain and help me back then? See, I did everything back then by myself. Okay, I had my dog with me. Thank God I did. And now today, what I want you to know is that you're not alone. We're here. Non-judgmental. Okay? my hope is that we can begin to see the pain and help with you guys, with whoever is struggling with this. I know there's plenty of us that we don't even want to acknowledge it sometimes, right? Because it's something that we don't want to talk about. But I'm being honest and open with you. I've been there. So here's the challenge, and here's what I want you to think about. Who's your Coco? Who's there for you? Who loves you? Now, if you're in this group and you know anything about me or anything about Geo, we are here. We love you guys. That's first and foremost. We love you guys. We love you so much that we're here to serve. As you have noticed, there's no sales going on, okay? There's no sales, and it won't be. It's all about serving, not selling. Who's your Coco? Reach out. If it's reach out to me. My door's open. I'm not always as quick as I'd like to be in being able to respond, but I'm here. I do have some other responsibilities that take me away from being online all the time. But I promise you, you're not alone. Another question is if you've been to that cliff. And the cliff meaning suicide, okay? It means it's a metaphor. There's many different ways, okay? I had a person when I was driving my big rig, and I was always told that when there's a stopped car coming up and you're doing 65 miles an hour, to always have at least a lane in between you and that vehicle. And I had that lane plus when I went around the vehicles because I could see someone on the other side of the pickup and they stepped out thinking they were going to step out in front of me. And they didn't. Okay? Where was I going with that? What I want you to know is for those of us that have been on that cliff and have made it through and still here, here's my question. Who can you be a Coco to or for? Does that make sense? So I'm looking for other folks, coaches or not. I know there's coaches in the group. It's all good. Because I know someone in this group right now in this group, is standing on their cliff. I know there is. And that dad, he's scared. He's silent. And he thinks that nobody sees him. But let's change that. You see, I talk about a convoy. I talk about trucking a lot. And the beautiful thing about a convoy, a classic convoy, is that when you're traveling together with other truckers, there's a camaraderie. It's like family, okay? You're talking on the CB and you're laughing and joking and, you're learning about each other's family and it's just, we really are a convoy in this group. Let me tell you why. We all have experienced, are experiencing, or soon to experience the big D word, divorce. And my first divorce left me in such wreckage that I saw no way out. And I know there are others that feel the same. And when a trucker in a convoy starts to break down, ooh, get this, starts to have a problem, the motor starts, something happens, and they're having to pull off to the side of the road. Guess what happens? Is he going to be there alone? No. When you've got a convoy, you're going to have another trucker pull over with you. It's something I did not have 20 years ago. And I don't want another divorced dad to experience the pain, the suffering, the silence, all of that by themselves. That's why I call it a convoy. Trucking. Ooh. I said it saved my life. It did. I was still lost, okay? Even after being on that cliff. But then I found a purpose. Now I came into trucking because it was lucrative, because of the money at first. But I soon found out that trucking, and I'm not sure if there's any other profession quite like it, but in order to be a successful trucker, you've got to be on a mission. A mission to go and pick up product, transport that product, and get it to a place that you deliver it. And it's every day. And it's the long haul. And trucking for me, as I began to see it metaphorically, yes, a metaphor, I was no longer just a trucker. That was a job. It wasn't no longer a job. I began to see how I fit in to the system, how I helped folks have materials to build their homes with. I helped serve folks by bringing them food, toilet paper for the COVID times. But I began to see myself in a way that I was serving. I was serving with my truck, if that makes sense. And that mission, a successful trucker being on a mission, is the same in life. And I wandered around without a purpose, without a mission. In the back of my mind, I knew I needed to be doing what I'm doing today and helping other divorced dads. While I was trucking, I became a coach. I helped other truckers become successful financially and taught many different things, but all to do with trucking. And then I began to make a shift. And in fact, I joined a group. I think it's still there, but it's truckers depression and anxiety group. Okay, now what a group, right? I dove into this group and the heaviness of it hit hard. Okay? Just like I know sometimes I think folks that come into our group and see some of the pain and the anguish, they think, wow, this is heavy. And it scared me the first time into that group. But it sparked something in me. I knew that part of my mission in helping divorced dads wasn't going to be about just your mind, how to think better, how to become better, how to do, go to the gym. It's not about that stuff, guys. At least not for me. And I know there's things that I can tell you to do, things that you can help you. The biggest help is in the convoy, is in the group of being able to have the power. And so many things going through my head right now. When you're alone and you feel like there's no light, I call it the pit of despair. And at the bottom of that pit, it's dark. You don't see any light because the pit is so deep. The question becomes, how do you ever find any light? I was asked many times, how did you do it? How did you overcome being on that cliff to doing what we're doing now. Um, well, I had a Coco. And I know that if we're going to be successful in this group and help others to overcome that pit of despair and that come back from the cliff, I'm going to need help. I can't be the only one out there. And so my call to you is, if you want to help, if you want to serve in this capacity. Now look, Geo is on board with this. You know, we're working behind the scenes on some stuff, okay? We're not exactly sure how this is all going to look. I know that we want to have a support system in place, a lifeline for dads that are on the edge, okay? Now, exactly how that's going to look, I don't know. I know there will be some trainings that we're going to be doing and help those that want to be a Coco for someone. We're not just going to throw you out there and expect. There's going to be some trainings that take place. All right. Let me do this. If you're watching this right now, do me a favor. And you're standing, you feel like you're on the edge. Whatever your edge looks like. Drop an "I'm here" in the comments. Okay? That's all I need. I'm here. And that way, I know. I know that what you mean by that. I'm hoping some of this speaks to your soul in a way that says, hey, you're not alone, number one. Number two, there is a way through. I know. It's, I don't have an exact script. I have some notes. Just do me a favor. If you are on that edge, just know that you're loved and that you matter. It may be not your dog Coco, but there's someone that loves you. If you're a dad, I know that you've got kids. They love you. They need you. Whew. Yeah, I told you it'd be different. You know, I just want you to know that you matter, guys. Your story, it's not over. Okay? This convoy, we've got room for you. We've got room for you. We're going to have some more about this. We'll have some trainings. We'll talk more. This week, no podcast. Gio announced that this last podcast that he is going to be on a digital free weekend. I like that idea. And so no podcast. There is going to be Whiskey Wednesdays as usual, 8 p.m. on Wednesday. I enjoyed the first one. Just the volume was the problem. And so just let me know. Just let me know that you've, like you said, if you're standing on that edge, drop an "I'm here" in the comments. And that will be enough to let you know that you're loved. All right, guys. I know it's a little heavy, but it's needed. It's needed in a way that says, you know, maybe I do need a script sometimes. If only I had a group like this back then. I appreciate you guys. I gain so much from you guys. I do. You don't realize how much you all help me. Thank you. Thank you for your support. I can come on here and kind of go off the deep end about stuff, and I know that you guys have my back. It's much appreciated. With that, DM me if you need it. I'm serious when I say that. Um, Any time, night or day. I'm a lot. I don't sleep a lot. I'm kind of like Geo in that I work probably 75 to 80 hours a week, something like that. And then the group is my, like I said, my passion project. And I'm here for you. Let me be your Coco if that's what you need. Y'all have a great rest of your day. And we'll see you next. In fact, you know, what do you think about this for a name? And mindset, nobody wants to talk about mindset. I get it. And I'm thinking maybe like a mental truck stop, a mental rest area. Somewhere, well, truck stop is better because then you can refuel, get something to eat. Just kicking around some ideas. Y'all have a great rest of your week. This is Monday Mindset for you. Love you guys. I'm out.